Hello everyone, we are Group 6 going to present you the PESTEL analysis that we have done on a beekeeping industry in Canada. This presentation will focus on company overview, then we will discuss about 6 factors of PESTEL analysis, and at the end we will try to conclude everything with the holistic approach. For the case, we have chosen Caspian Apiaries. Owner of the company, Mr. Hussain, who worked for the betterment of beekeeping industry as a whole in Canada, has provided a lot of information regarding beekeeping activities. However, his company generates around $17.4 million revenue every year. Of course, with the help of 106 employees who work for the betterment of the company. Analysis is a kind of a business external environmental analysis which consists 6 factors, that is political, economic, social, technological, environmental and legal. Let's talk about political. So tell me, what comes in your mind when you think about political? Government, right? So it is about how government activities or how government policies influence the business activities. In our case, beekeeping industries, Ministry of Agriculture in British Columbia has introduced several policies regarding beekeeping activities. That is like how federal government will involve when it is about bees or beekeeping, or how the legislation will differ for each province, and how this beekeeping industry will allure WTO and NAFTA. These all policies work as a current strength for the beekeepers as it provides a lot of instruction to them. However, there are no such mentions regarding how government is going to support beekeepers. But once the 2021 federal election will be done in Canada, we can expect that government might be able to focus more on beekeepers. But you know, at the end, if beekeepers are not getting enough support, there will be a lot of trouble for them. If beekeepers are in the trouble, bees are in the trouble. If bees are in the trouble, bee production in the trouble, and at the end Canada might end up losing its global ranking in bee production. So let's hope for the best. Over to you, Sarvesh.
Thank you, Aditya. Good morning, Professor. For every business and industry, it is essential to understand the economic status and the situation. If the economic analysis is done poorly, it can lead to wrong decision that can turn into losses, and the company objective would be disturbed. The economic factor is divided into two categories. First is micro. It is a study of economics at an individual basis, organization level, or a group. For example, income tax, interest rates, purchasing power. The second is a macro. It is a vice versa of micro. It focuses on issues that affect the country organization, for example, size of the overall target market, competition, supply and demand. In the second slide, I have discussed the overview of economic status. At present, there are 2,700 beekeepers and more than 52,000 colonies in BC. They are either working as a part-time or a full-time. The BC government supports research to improve the health of the colonies. The apiculture contribution to the economy is good but not very impressive. There are many reasons behind the sluggish growth, which I have discussed in the third slide. The current strength. The government support in terms of monetary and non-monetary aid like training, releasing of special fund. The current challenge. Consumption is decreasing in heavy import after two provinces, which are Quebec and Ontario. The future prospect, awareness creation is very much needed. At the same point of time, strong management and the union required. Future risk, the fear of colony collapse disorder, unfavorable overbee winter mortality insurance, and the young people are not inclined towards the profession. Thank you. Over to Bharti.
Thank you, Sarvesh. This is Bhartiben Sangeet Trivedi from Group 6. I'll be explaining about the social aspect in beekeeping industry as a part of the PESTEL analysis project. Honey beekeeping industry is one of the key business, revenue generator and employment generator in Canada since last 1850. Here I'll be explaining about the 4 approaches from social aspect, which includes current strength, current challenge, future prospect, and the future risk. Let's start with the current strength. Rising beekeepers. Last decade has been seen an exponential growth in number of the beekeepers. It has witnessed more than 2,300 registered beekeepers with 47,000 colonies. Talking about the current challenge, pollination is much more costly affair. It is estimated by both local public and the growers. Bee shortage affecting pollination efforts and ultimately affecting affecting food production. 63% of the beekeepers, instead of rising beekeepers, facing manpower labor shortage because of the three reasons. One is the incompetitive wage rate, exhaustive working condition, and seasonality nature of the work. Future prospect: the government has taken a lot of initiatives, programs, and the courses for those who wanted to start the business or wanted to do the beekeeping in their community gardens or be a member of the local group. Modern agriculture practices such as the use of biopesticides and innovation method of using pollination, which will ultimately increase the productivity. There are several factors which is affecting in the future risk. Let's start with due to limited availability of the bee shortage. It is on significant risk which leads to the industry degrowth. Due to the nature of the work of the business, there is a potential risk and threat to the beekeepers or the labor who are involving into this industry. The government should adopt a right policy to pay on competitive basis with improved health and safety standards. Thank you. Zainal will be explaining now about the technological factors.
Thank you, Bharti. Now we will take a quick look on a technological factor in a pestle analysis of beekeeping industry. As we know, guys, the technology plays a vital role in every firm. However, this technology has its own benefit and drawback. For example, devices such as computer, smartphone used in a firm can bring benefit to them, whereas it creates an obstacle for others. Looking at the current trend, availability of cutting-edge devices help beekeepers to perform various activities without putting themselves in a danger. Guys, what do you think? What type of a device does beekeeper use? Yes, there are various devices that beekeeper use. For example, flow hives through which they can extract honey from the honeycomb without disturbing the honeybee. Another example is thermal solar through which they can keep their bee warm, especially during winter season. If we look at the current challenges, radiation coming from the tower, such as the mobile tower, have a severe effect on the bee. Furthermore, beekeepers are trying their best to protect their bee from the radiation. Looking at the future prospectors, we can expect various devices in the coming time, which can help beekeeper in more effective way. Guys, what do you think? What type of a device we can expect in the coming time? Yes, there are various devices we can expect in coming time. For example, thermal camera, through which the beekeeper can monitor their bee activity without opening the bee hive, especially during the winter season. Another example is bee aids survival device. This device attract the bee, identify the disease through which bee is suffering and kill it, and provide all the basic nutrition. If we look at the future risks, any malfunction in this device can kill the bee or wipe out the entire population of the bee. Now it's to you, Mathinda.
Hello, Professor. I'm Mathilda from Group 6. I'm going to talk about the environmental aspects in the pestle analysis for the beekeeping industry in Canada. Environmental influence are included in pestle analysis recently. For the beekeeping industry, there are a few factors which influence from the environmental aspects. These are like global warming, biodiversity due to the climate changes, geography of Canada, and current farming practice. When we analyze the pestle, we have used the four approaches: the current strengths, current challenge, future risks, and future prospect. Current strengths. Canada has wide farmlands. 1.78 million of prairies are located in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. So geographically, Western Canada is the great strength for the beekeeping industry due to the widespread of farming land. Canada is the top canola seed oil production in the world, as well as the second highest of blueberry production in the world. Such a great and big demand volume in the horticulture industry, the pollination service in the Canada beekeeping industry are in a great demand. Current challenges. Farming practices and systems are harmful to the bee colonies. Using the pesticide is known for the industry, that small amount of chemical is harmful for the beast. The recent challenge is a parasite called varroa mite. Over the year, the mite has been resistant to the current treatment. Due to the failures of the treatment, the beekeeper lost their colony recently. Future prospect. Current generation gain more knowledge of sustainability, organic projects, and social responsibility awareness through their social medias. Biopesticide, which is a natural project, is going to use in Canada farming in the near future. In such a case, the side effect of pesticide will no longer be a threat for the beekeeping industry. However, future risks of habitat loss due to the climate change are a long-term problem for the beekeeping industry as well as the agriculture industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Matilda. Legal factor in business environmental analysis is one of the glimpses of the political influence which involves the changes in enactment affecting employment, administrations to the material quantity, assets, imports, fares, and tax collection. Certain law affect the business climate in industry. If we talk about the Ministry of Agriculture, British Columbia, one of the significant acts related to beekeeping industry is Animal Health Act, which provide the guidelines to beekeepers who are working with actual livestock as well as farming related to the animal and creature. Initial step for the forming and the organization related to beekeeping in a registration according to the Bee Regulation 2021. And if we talk about the current strength, all the legislation rules, regulation and laws are already given for the beekeeping industry, which makes the procedure for the brood production, pollination as well as the honey production simpler. In the current challenges, the beekeeping industry are quite put aside except a few preventive measures involvement. There are no specified regulation provided to support and the individuals involved in the beekeeping industry. For the future prospect, more laws and regulation to support not only beekeeping industry but the whole agriculture industry might be implemented, considering the prevailing the COVID-19 pandemic, as we all aware from this, so that it could provide a minimum assurance to the farmers for a few upcoming years. And if we talk about the future risk, biggest risk is involved in the legal factor is laws and the regulation are not met for forever. If legislation authority find that there are some certain loophole in any act, it can put a more restriction which might not be in a favor for the organization. All the six factors equally, any business industries apart from these six factors, organization can maintain sustainable development by being responsible toward the society. Maintaining to the ethical standards in the organization as well as in the production would help company gain the trust at the public at large. Be healthy with bee. Thank you.